Welcome, my fellow hunters. This is Noscraft, and welcome to my Let's Play of Monster Hunter Rise. Today we're going to be continuing through the 6-star village. I think it's 6-star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we're going to be continuing through the 6-star village, hunting some new monsters, and the first one on our list is the Goss Harag, the abominable snow beast. This quest is from the tundra-dwelling mother. A monster in the Frost Islands has been roaring after dark. The cries have terrified my child, who now refuses to go to the toilet alone at night. Please, help us if you can. Now this is kind of an interesting quest, in the quest description given to us by the tundra-dwelling mother, because there is a monster that makes loud noises if you go at night, and it is the monk snail. It is not necessarily the Goss Harag. If we get a chance to see the monk snail, I will show it to you, but it is the rare endemic life from the Frost Islands, and it is not seen all that often, but it is a super cool monster. Okay, so we have our items all set. Almost. Grab a shock trap. Couple new things in our list is the power charm and the armor charm. We were able to buy these from Kagero after finishing up fighting that Almudron once we entered the 6-star rank. And these will give us just a static attack and defense boost for holding them in our item pouch. And so they become a part of our kit. Power Charm and Armor Charm. Later on, we'll also get access to the Power Talon and the Armor Talon. But that's not for a little bit. Our equipment is the same. We're still running with the Anjanath Gunlance, because it has the highest attack of any Gunlance that we have, and we're just kind of dealing with the negative 20% affinity. We've got our helm, which is Rathalos. Let me grab our status. Basarios chest. We've got a couple Anjanath pieces, and then Volvidon Greaves, and that gives us attack boost level 4, crit boost level 1, fire attack, guard, slugger, evade extender, and wall runner. And so yeah, so our attack, the base attack of the weapon is 160, and then with all of our boosts, it gets boosted up to 181. Which is pretty significant. One thing that I haven't looked at, and we can look at that together,
What's up?
is setting a rampage skill for the Gunlance. Looks like we could do affinity boost, which would change the affinity from negative 20 to negative 16. We could do fire boost, which would boost the fire from 17 to 21. Or we could do brutal strike, which has the chance to increase damage with a negative affinity attack. And I think we are just going to do an affinity boost. And that should make it so that our base affinity,
The village is in your hands.
instead of being at negative 15, is at negative 11. So that's a lot better. We have a little bit greater than a 10% chance to have a negative crit, which would be a hit that does less damage. And that's not awful. Not awful. Okay, what else do we need before we take on the abominable snow beast? I don't think we need anything.
Run!
So Goss Harag is a monster that we fought a little bit ahead of time
From the snowy depths.
in that event quest, where we fought, I think it was it a Magna Malo and a Goss Harag?
With its killing breath.
That sounds about right. So this is a really challenging monster. It's got some really cool moves where it'll
Then it goes out
create these like ice swords or ice clubs on its hands, and it makes it so that it'll really like wind up its attacks.
Too late.
and gives you a really good chance to counter it.
Beast heals all.
But it does a lot of damage, and so it's one of those where the attacks can be super telegraphed, but if you get hit by them, you're gonna pay the price. And so because of that, we are more than likely going to cart at least once this run, because I'm gonna get greedy or I'm gonna miss a Gunlance counter or something. Something will go wrong. So there's Goss Harag. Look, it's like scratching its back on the rocks. I just wanted to come down here. Stinkmink. I'm not super interested in Pokemon, but I did want to grab a couple spirit birds as we get started. Look, it's mad at the baggie. It's kind of cute.
There it is.
Right, here we go. Ouch.
There's more where that came from. Have a taste of that.
So I want to get our... Ooh, ouchies. If we can, it looks like we broke the head already. I want to get our Wormstake into its head.
Concentrate.
Which means we're going to have to get a little bit creative. And maybe take a few hits. But if we can get the Wormstake in the head, we have a chance to get a KO. That's the back. Okay, so now it's angry,
I'm gonna get you.
which means it's gonna do this thing. Oh, yep, there we go. That's our KO. It's not quite what I wanted to do, but that's okay.
No more Mr. Nice Guy. Have a taste of that.
Ooh, ouch. It does a lot of damage. We're stunned. Perfect. If you can knock the gloves off of the Grumpy Goss, then you get a knockdown. And that can be really nice. A good way to get some damage in. So all in all, that actually went really well. We were able to get the Wormstake on the head enough to get a KO, which is like a really cool thing that you can do with Wide Gunlance. Like, it's only my second time getting a KO on a monster with Wide, and it feels good, right? Because it feels like you know what you're doing, even if you really don't know what you're doing. And then, yeah, being able to get the knockdowns. Oh, we're stunned again. No, 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 no. We want to hit these things, but we want to knock them off.
Be careful! There's more where that came from.
Alright, so now it's not red anymore, which means it's not enraged. We want to break this arm if we can.
This is gonna be easy.
We're about to die. Good job, Louise. Grab these squids.
Here comes the pain.
That didn't quite work. We're at super affinity. Yeah, there we go. Look at that kaboom. Alright, that's good. And it runs away. So you could see that right when you do the worm stake, it does a little bit of KO damage, and then when the worm stake actually goes off, it does a little bit more KO
Time for
damage.
some sharpening.
So the more you can hit your head with the worm stakes, the more KO you can get off. And that is pretty darn cool. So yeah, Goss represents a monster that is really tough for a lot of people.
Progress.
Come on, Baggy. Just want this stuff. Really tough for a lot of people. And a lot of that is because it hits pretty hard. And look, there's a Tigrex right over there. This Thunder Beetle will also help with the KOs. Because it hits really hard. But a lot of its moves are pretty well telegraphed. And so learning the fight ends up being really important when you're fighting Goss Harag. Alright, it looks like it is grumpy, which means that getting a KO will be pretty impactful if we can manage it. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Alright. I want to die. Alright, so we didn't get the KO. That is okay.
I'm gonna get you.
Come on. There we go. Oh, I thought I had a worm stake. There we go. Goss Harag has been defeated. Block of ice.
Don't mind if I do.
So yeah, super fun monster. Ends up being a monster that, for those who know the fight, they can really take advantage of it, and it becomes a lot of fun because it feels like it can feel like a give and take.
Doing great. That takes care of that. I'm gonna need some of your parts.
Right, you give a little bout here, a little bout
Put
there.
this to good use. Don't worry.
You win one, you lose one, or you just kind of like
I'm gonna
own
need
it.
some of your parts. Oh. All in a day's work.
We also switched Louise over to use the Sonic layered armor. I think it looks looks really good. Looks really nice. I was getting a little bit tired of Sukino's voice. So it was time for a change, and eventually we'll go back to using just the Calico armor. I think once we get into high rank, we'll spend a little bit more time looking at the Palico armor sets and maybe crafting a bunch of those. Same with armors. We haven't been crafting a whole bunch of armor, but we might craft a whole bunch more armor in high rank just for the fun of it. So I think we've looked at the Goss Harag stuff before in terms of armor, but we'll take a look again. It runs with Agitator, Critical Draw, Punishing Draw, and Resentment. Critical Draw and Punishing Draw seem like skills you would normally run on Greatsword or Longsword. Agitator is just like it's a pretty good skill, and it's a standalone on the Mail and the Greaves. So here in low rank, you could kind of run them if you really wanted to. At this point in low rank, you're probably starting to get close to transitioning into high rank, at which point there's not much need to pick up a whole bunch of armor. Here towards the end, what you're running with is probably going to be good enough, and in high rank you're going to want to upgrade pretty quick just to get the extra defense. So nothing too crazy there. There is no Goss Harag Gunlance tree. We need some more Goss Harag hides for this camera Gunlance upgrade. Yeah. And then for switch axes, I don't think there's a Goss Harag switch axe either. Yeah, this camera upgrade took Goss Harag claws. Oh yeah, okay, so upgrading this took a Diablos shell, which we found a Diablos I was playing some multiplayer. I found a Diablos. We did not slay the Diablos, but we did
Some hunters literally
get
take
some
hours.
shinies from it.
I'm used to waiting.
Yeah, no Goss Harag switch axe either.
Come to me if you need.
So yeah, that's that. The monsters that we have left to face are Diablos, Tigrex, and that is going to be it. So I think what we have on the docket is we're going to be taking on a Diablos, we're going to take on a Tigrex, and then we will transition into high rank by fighting the Rampage 4-star hub urgent in the hub. Sounds like a plan to me. Sounds like it'll be fun. So until then, so long. Have a good hunt.